Are you tired of restrictive diets that never seem to work? Or what if I told you that there's a way you can eat healthy without following a strict meal plan or giving up your favorite foods? That's exactly what I want to introduce you to today. 5 simple rules that make eating healthy easy, all without having to feel guilty every time you eat something delicious, a boring meal plan, tasteless food, or eating nothing but salads. My name's Doug and I've been a certified personal trainer and nutritionist for nearly 6 years now. And in that time, I've helped well over 100 guys and girls to achieve amazing results like this, and this. Rule number 1 is to focus on how much you eat rather than what you eat. Calorie quantity and calorie quality are both important, but when you're first starting out, you really want to focus on how much you're eating, how many calories you're having, and how much you should eat will depend on your goal. If you want to lose weight, then you need to be in a caloric deficit, where you're eating fewer calories than your maintenance number. If you want to build muscle, on the other hand, you want to be in a small caloric surplus, where you're eating a few more calories than your maintenance number. So the very first thing you need to do is calculate that maintenance number. Your maintenance calories is exactly what it sounds like. The number of calories that you need to eat if you just want to stay the same, if you want to maintain your current weight and body fat percentage. Your maintenance calories is based on 4 physiological factors: your age, your weight, your height, and your sex, but also how active your lifestyle is. And if you want help calculating your maintenance calorie number, then you can click the first link in the description of this video. I'll send you personalized recommendations so you know exactly how many calories you should be eating. And I'll explain all the numbers in much more detail so that you can reach your goal faster. Once you've got your maintenance calorie number and you've defined your goal, I would multiply your daily calorie target by 7. Because if you look at your calories on a weekly basis, rather than just trying to hit the same target every single day, you'll find this a lot easier. So let's say, for example, that your maintenance calories was 2,500 and your goal is to lose some weight. You might set your daily target at 2,000 calories. Because we know if you create and then sustain a 500 calorie deficit for 7 days, you're going to lose 1 pound of body fat. And that's simply because there are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. 500 multiplied by 7 is 3,500. But rather than trying to hit 2,000 calories on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what I'd recommend you do is multiply 2,000 by 7. Now you can start every single week with 14,000 calories. That's your weekly calorie allowance. And you now have the peace of mind that if you stay within that 14,000, you're going to lose 1 pound of fat. 14,000 sounds a lot more appealing than trying to hit 2,000 every single day, doesn't it? It gives you a lot more control and a lot more freedom with your food. It also makes you much more mindful, and it encourages you to plan your week. So now you can have low calorie days, which my clients typically do at the start of the week when there's less stress and less social pressure, where you eat slightly less than 2,000 a day, saving room for higher calorie days at the back end of the week, when you might be a little bit more tired, stress might be higher, and you probably want to go out and have fun with your friends, with your partner, with your family. And you don't want to have to worry about hitting such strict calorie numbers. The other problem with trying to hit your calorie target every single day is that if you fail on one day, say Wednesday, it's very tempting and very easy to give up and just say, oh, well, I'll start again on Monday. But that's not the attitude that we want to have. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is to try and eat protein with every meal. Protein is my favorite macronutrient, but probably not for the reason you think it is. Yes, you need protein to build muscle mass, but that's not why I love it so much for me and my clients. I love protein because whatever your goal, it's going to help you for 4 reasons. Number 1 is that it fills you up. Protein is the most satiating macro. It kills your hunger and it stops cravings. Number 2 is that digesting protein burns a ton of calories, and that's because it's harder for your body to break down than fats and carbs. Number 3 is that protein is good for your skin, your nails, your hair, and pretty much every cell in your body. And number 4 is that protein improves your overall health by boosting your immune system. I recommend that you try to eat at least 100 grams of protein a day. That might sound like a lot. It might sound hard. It might sound overwhelming. And I get that because I used to struggle with this myself. But now I eat over 200 grams of protein every day without even trying. And if you break that 100 gram target down into bite-sized chunks, it's only about 30 grams of protein at each of your 3 meals. Throw a high protein snack on top, and you're golden. The best sources of protein are called complete proteins, most of which come from animals. That's because they provide all of the essential amino acids, which are the building blocks of life, so they're very important, in all the right proportions. So you've got lean meats, both red and white, you've got milk, you've got egg, and you've got fish. I have no idea what is going on with my claw today. Those are the best 4 sources of protein in terms of quality. But some of my favorite go-to alternatives are spinach, Greek yogurt, cheese, and peanut butter. And failing that, you've always got the option to supplement your protein with bars and shakes. Final piece of advice on protein. As I said, try and spread your protein intake out across the day. That's going to make it a heck of a lot easier to hit, and it's going to keep your body fueled with a constant stream of protein, which is great news because it's going to control any cravings for unhealthy snacks. And that's going to make staying within your calorie target much easier. Rule number 3 is to aim for 30 grams of fiber a day. Fiber is a little bit like protein in that regardless of your goal, eating a lot of it is going to be fantastic for your overall health and well-being. And like protein, fiber is going to help you in 4 ways. Firstly, because it fills you up. And that's because your body can't digest a lot of the fiber that you eat. So it sits in your stomach for longer. Secondly, it helps your gut health. And it does this by promoting regular bowel movements and acting as a prebiotic, which improves your gut microbiome. And that's important because a healthy gut microbiome is likely to improve your mental health. 90 to 95% of your serotonin, which is your feel-good, happy hormone, is actually produced in your gut. A healthier gut, more serotonin, a happier you. Number 3 is that fiber reduces your cravings by helping to control your blood sugar level, which then makes staying within your calories a lot easier. And reason number 4 to eat more fiber is that it gives you more long-lasting energy. The best sources of fiber are fruit, veg, nuts, legumes, and grains. More specifically, some of my personal favorite are blueberries, spinach, dark chocolate, brown rice, and almonds. I'm not saying that they're the best. I'm not saying that you have to have those ones. I'm just telling you what I enjoy the most and what makes sticking to my diet the easiest. Rule number 4 is to drink at least 3 liters of water a day. Water's a funny one because deep down, everybody knows it's good for them and everybody knows they should probably be drinking more of it. But a little bit like protein and fiber, a lot of people struggle with their water. But regardless of what you've told yourself, I don't think anybody has a good excuse. It's not expensive, it doesn't taste bad, and it's not exactly difficult to find. No, if you struggle to drink enough water, it's just because you're not focused on it. Honestly, that's not your fault. You're not focused on it because no one's ever taken the time to explain why water's so good for you and just how impactful it can be on your health in a positive way. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Water actually helps you in 5 ways. First and foremost, it prevents dehydration. And that's pretty important because if you got too dehydrated, well, you die. But people don't realize just how sensitive our brains are to dehydration. If you're just 1 to 2% dehydrated, your brain senses it. And when it senses that dehydration coming on, it starts to shut down non-essential processes in your body. And when that happens, you become lethargic. So the way I like to look at water is that it's a secondary energy system, because if you stay hydrated, you're going to keep that feeling of lethargy at bay. Secondly, water actually boosts your metabolism. Particularly drinking cold water activates a process in your body called thermogenesis. And this is where your body actually has to physically heat up the water. And that requires energy. In other words, calories. The third way that water helps you is that it suppresses your appetite. And it does this by not only filling your stomach when you drink it, but by actually stretching the walls of your stomach. And when the walls of your stomach are stretched, signals are sent to your brain that you're full. So in other words, it's a neat little trick that you can play on your brain to stop you snacking and going over your calories. The fourth way that water helps you is that it's 0 calories. So it acts as a great alternative to any drinks that have got calories in them. And that means you can drink as much as you want of it. And if you're one of those people who's not from planet Earth and says they don't like the taste of water, then there's plenty of ways you can flavor your water with 0 sugar squash. And remember, when it comes to drinking water, more often than not, you're not hungry, you're just bored. And the fifth and final way that drinking lots of water and staying hydrated can help your overall health is through a process called lipolysis. Proper hydration is necessary for the oxidation and breakdown of fat molecules. Dehydration can hinder that process. If you're still with me, then by now you should be sold on drinking more water. But the next question you've probably got is, how do I do that, Doug? I want to, but I always forget. Well, if you struggle to remember to drink water, then I suggest using reminders or alarms on your phone. And use an app to track your water intake. Set yourself a target, write down how many glasses or how many liters you've had at the end of each day. And then the following day or the following week, depending on how quickly you want to ramp this up, aim to drink 20% more. Carry a reusable water bottle with you and keep it in your eye line, because it's not enough at being near you. And always drink water with meals. Make that a good habit. The fifth and final rule to make healthy eating easy is to limit the amount of processed food, sugar, and alcohol in your diet. You've probably heard this one before, but it's worth me repeating, and it's worth me taking the time to explain why it's so important. Because again, if you understand why, if you can assign value and logic to it, you're far more likely to stick to it. This is going to help you in so many ways. Junk food and processed food is engineered to be hyper palatable. In other words, it's designed to be addictive. So you constantly want more of it. Not only that, it doesn't tend to fill you up. So when you combine those two, the fact that it's addictive and you always want more of it, and the fact that it doesn't fill you up, it makes it far more likely that you're going to go over your calorie target. And remember the first rule, knowing how much you should eat is so important. Junk food and processed food will also make you feel lethargic. That means you'll move less, and if you move less, you'll burn fewer calories. It can also mess up your sleep and cause havoc on your hormones, your endocrine system. And if you needed another reason to ditch the junk and processed food, it's terrible for your gut health. It leads to bloating, inflammation, poor nutrient absorption, and constipation. And remember what I said earlier about your gut health. The healthier the gut microbiome, the more serotonin you can produce. The more serotonin you can produce, the happier that you'll be. Eating a lot of processed and junk food inverts that. So my advice here is simple. Don't feel like you have to give it up forever, but a little bit like if you were going to do dry January. I would commit 4 to 6 weeks of having no junk food and trying to limit as much processed food from your diet as possible. The first few days will be hard if you're used to eating a lot of it, but I promise you, after just a couple of weeks, not only will you see such a big difference, you will feel so much better. First and foremost, you will be noticeably happier, but you'll also have more energy and more drive. You won't feel like you're having to get through the days anymore. You'll be bouncing from one thing to the next. So listen, that's a lot to take in, but it really breaks down into 3 things. Firstly, know your numbers. How much should you be eating to hit your goal? Number 2, always make sure you've got protein and fiber on your plate or in your bowl. And if you're going to snack on something that's high in protein or high in fiber. And thirdly, drink water with every meal and as much of it as you can around that. If you follow those simple rules for 30 days, you'll find healthy eating a lot easier. And more importantly, you'll feel like $1,000,000. Like anything, when you first start, it will be challenging because you're making a change. And any change requires sacrifice. But this is positive change that will lead to positive results. So I implore you to trust the process, to embrace the change, and to try as hard as you can. Because if you do this, and if you get it right, you'll never look back. Nevertheless, I appreciate it can feel overwhelming if you're brand new to this or just getting started. So if you'd like me to hold your hand through the process, support you, give you a step-by-step guide, hold you accountable, and give you a personalized plan so that you can reach your goals faster, then I'd encourage you to click the second link in the description of this video and apply for my online coaching program. I'm actually fully booked right now, but I'll be opening up limited spaces for a few people to join in a couple of weeks. But if you're just here for the content, then I appreciate you all the same. And if you've enjoyed this video and more importantly found it helpful, then I would be so grateful if you could show your support by smashing the thumbs up button to like the video and drop a comment to let me know which rule you found the most helpful. And of course, subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss the next video. I've got some exciting ones coming up that you're not going to want to miss. Until then, bye.